salty Gulf Coast to the rolling high plains, to the piney woods in the east. All across our dear Texas, folks need good food to eat. Our farmers and ranchers are heroes. They've always made Texas great. Texas agriculture matters. It's the heart of the Lone Star State. Oh, Texas got it all, y'all.
Well, howdy, neighbors. I'm your Texas Agriculture Commissioner, Sid Miller. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Texas Agriculture Matters, right here on RFD TV. Today, we're diving into one of those most important topics for Texas agriculture and our future, water conservation. Now, here on this show, we shine a light on the issues that impact our state's farmers, ranchers, and our communities, and water is right at the top of the list. Water shortages just aren't a headline. They're a daily challenge for our Texas farmers and ranchers. With our population expected to nearly double over the next 50 years, the pressure on our water supply is only going to grow. As Texans, we understand the value of every drop, especially as we grapple with these droughts, exploding demand, and unfulfilled promises from Mexico with our 1944 water treaty. Now, conserving water isn't just about saving it, it's about securing our future. Texans are leading the way with cutting-edge technologies like advanced irrigation systems and innovative policies that turn wastewater into a renewable source. But to make the most of our water resources, we must focus on critical strategies like capturing stormwater, recycling treated water, upgrading our delivery systems, increasing storage capacity, and improving water movement all across the state. Water conservation isn't just a choice, it's our responsibility. Now, let's join Tammy Arnder as she visits the Environmental Education Center in Seagoville, Texas. Water, just another way Texas agriculture matters.
The Environmental Education Center is located just over 20 miles southeast of Dallas. It's a 500-acre nature/academic facility. In other words, it's a classroom outside of the classroom.
What this is for is for the Dallas school kids to come out here and get into nature. And we will take what the classroom teacher has started and we'll extend it with our 500 acres out here, things that we have that they don't have. So we work in conjunction with our teachers and correlate our programs to their program and what the district is supposed to be teaching the kids.
Bob Gorman is a supervisor here at the EEC. His background is agriculture. He has a passion for teaching the next generation. He says this place is much more than a petting zoo.
The animals out here, instead of just feeding and petting the animals, they learn about the adaptations, about the different kind of feet they have and the horns that they have and what the skin is used for and what the food would get out of them. We'll have the dairy cows and we'll have the beef cows and we have the longhorn, which is of course the Texas animal. And we teach them all about that animal, but we let them answer the questions mostly. Many of them have never even seen a longhorn up close.
Another very unique element of the center is its water harvesting program. Gorman started capturing water in barrels on the property back in 2006.
There's 40,000 gallons of water that fall on top of this barn in an average year. And it's hooked up to gutters and to big pipes up there that come down and fill up this container. And then it's gravity fed from there down to the water troughs throughout in the barn. There's two. We use two of them,
and they do help just offset cost of water, but also use of water, because it is becoming a more scarce resource, and we've got to use water every way we can without trying to use city water all the time.
When it rains, the liquid is captured in two different locations, one in this 2,500-gallon drum and 5 smaller barrels next to a classroom where chickens and other small farm animals are used to teach kids.
Just to show them that you can save water, that you don't have to turn the faucet on and get city water out, which uses electricity for the pumps, uses the water, and also has the chemicals in it. Shows them that they can get pure water right out of their backyard.
Harvesting the precipitation means the animals and plant life can survive during those long periods of dryness, especially during the Texas summers. There's a simple piping system that gets the water from the barrels to the troughs.
Water strictly that we saved, that you don't have to pump the water out here. Doesn't take electricity to run the pumps and everything. It's all gravity fed in the barn and in the 5 barrels down there that's hooked up.
Most of the students of the Dallas Independent School District who come here on field trips aren't necessarily aware of the sustainability and conservation component of capturing rainwater at the center. All they know is they can get up close and personal with some well-fed and watered livestock.
But that's what the water project is all about. You saving water and saving electricity, and hopefully getting better water than you get out of the faucet. There's no chemicals or anything in it.
I'm Tammy Arender for Texas Agriculture Matters.
Well, howdy, friends. Today it's my pleasure to have Corey Jones joining us. Now, Corey is the general manager of the Northern Trinity Groundwater Conservation District. Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Now, Corey, tell us a little about yourself and how you became to manage this groundwater district.
Yes, sir. So born and raised in Fort Worth. I went to school in Lubbock, went to Texas Tech. I got an agricultural economics degree, came back out of college, moved back to Fort Worth. Worked at the Upper Trinity GCD just west of us. They cover Parker, Wise, Hood, and Montague counties. It's kind of where I cut my teeth. Had the opportunity to move a little closer to home. So started working at the Northern Trinity GCD around the 2015 timeframe and became the general manager in 2021.
Now, Texas, we're a little different than most Western states. We have what's rule of capture. So if you own the water that's under your land, if you get to the top of the ground and capture it, it's yours, right?
Yes,
so
sir.
Tell us about how this groundwater district comes into play and helps manage our groundwater, the sustainability of groundwater, those things.
Yes, sir. So a lot of the districts in our area of North Texas came to fruition kind of in response to priority groundwater management area, or PGMA. So in 2006, TCEQ basically released recommendations of, hey, we're going to have some groundwater issues we're currently experiencing or we project we're going to experience in the future. So they recommended it in 2006, and in 2009, it was actually designated a PGMA. Our district, Northern Trinity, which coincides with the bounds of Tarrant County, was introduced in 2007. So a little ahead of the few other districts around us. But basically coming in to get a handle on what's going on with the groundwater to address, things that could happen in the future.
So y'all basically kind of give oversight of the groundwater. You don't really tell people they can or can't, but you have rules that help manage the groundwater. Is that a good explanation?
Yes, sir. So we've got spacing rules.
Like
which,
well spacing?
Yes, sir. Well
so
spacing.
Gotta be so far apart?
Exactly. So depending on the gallon per minute capacity of your well, you've got to be so far away from another essentially registered well. Okay. So the more gallons your well is capable of producing, the further you have to be away from a well.
It pumps like we call it a cone of depression. Right?
Exactly. That's
what about
correct.
Distance from property lines? Is that a factor?
So property lines, each district is going to be different, managed by a board or oversought by a board. And our district doesn't have any more spacing regulations to property lines than TDLR, which has minimum setbacks from property lines.
So there is a setback.
There are setbacks, yes, sir.
What kind of new technologies or innovations have come about in the last few years?
So a big one, a big one for us is going to be the Groundwater Management Area 8, which is going to be all the local districts kind of over the Trinity Aquifer in our area. We participate in GMA 8 and we develop models to understand exactly what's going on with the groundwater, what the water levels, are in specific areas.
Groundwater management areas, right?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
16 of those around the state.
Correct.
We've got it divided up.
Yes,
Just so,
sir.
a lot of people don't know what GMA is.
Yes,
Anyway, go
that's
ahead.
where all the GCDs come together and create their models or establish their desired future conditions, or DFCs.
Okay. All right. Hey, folks, we're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back with Corey Jones right here on Texas Agriculture Matters. We're going to talk more groundwater. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Texas Agriculture Matters. I'm your host, Texas Agriculture Commissioner Sid Miller. Now, let's continue our talk with Corey Jones and the Northern Trinity Groundwater Conservation District. So, we're always concerned about aquifer depletion, water tables dropping. How does that relate to what you do?
So a lot of that comes into our modeling and trying to figure out, what is sustainable. And it comes back to our desired future condition, which is what we, again, go back to the GMA8, our groundwater management areas. We have an idea on a long-term scale of what we want those aquifers to look like.
Okay.
So we model that, and a lot of those models have structure, which is going to be, the layers within the aquifer, and we couple that with pumping data, and things like that to really model what's going on with the aquifer and try to do that long-term planning.
So you mentioned long-term goals. So what are some of the long-term goals to manage this groundwater?
It's just managing, preserving, and protecting the groundwater resources of Tarrant County.
So for our listeners, we're not all into irrigation and everything, but what can residents do, just a typical homeowner or farmer, rancher, what can we do to help manage our groundwater, conserve groundwater?
So a lot of the times that's, the things we've heard of are going to be your faucets or your appliances in your house that use less water. A big issue we see is going to be irrigation, inefficient irrigation of lawns or things like that. If you drive through some of these neighborhoods, it's been raining for multiple days and you'll see sprinklers going continuously. Another big one that's overlooked, not just our area, but also, more rural, would be plugging of abandoned wells and wells that are no longer in use. Those are direct conduits to the aquifer and contaminants.
Very important.
It really is, and it's a big deal with the state. They're making a big push for that to get those wells that are no longer used or are deteriorated, get those wells plugged so we don't have those contamination issues and potential issues in the future.
And there's other things that cities can do, like rainwater harvesting, stormwater drainage, capture that water. Most of them need to work on their infrastructure. They lose a tremendous amount of water. We can use desal. Homeowners, we're talking about homeowners. One of the main things they can do, besides, in addition to what you just described, is using water smart plants, getting away from these high water use St. Augustine grasses and some other hollies and things, and use more native type plants.
Absolutely, yes. So those St. Augustine grasses are very water intensive. There are better options, whether you cut down your irrigated area, put landscape in, specific trees or plants. It's really just getting back towards native plants that do a little better.
Use a little cowboy logic there.
Yes, sir.
So tell us why you think Texas agriculture matters.
Well, in short, agriculture is a big part of the identity of this state, especially this area, and it is, a huge part of our economy now and moving in the future for our future generations.
Corey, thank you for enlightening us on conserving our groundwater today.
Yes, sir.
We appreciate it. Hey, folks, let's go take a look at another one of our great Go Texan partners. For over 20 years, the Texas Department of Agriculture's Go Texan program has helped promote products made right here in the Lone Star State. From boots to salsa, Go Texan members make the best stuff on earth. Now, friends, let's take a look at one of these fine Texas businesses and why they are Go Texan proud.
Go Texan every day. This meat market was opened in January of 2024, so not even a year yet. You know, we're a registered Black Angus ranch, and we have been for quite a few years, and we're raising cows and bulls that were sold locally and around the nation. And we just decided, just because of the way our cattle ranch operate, some of our outputs, we saw a need for quality meat and quality beef. We were producing that, but we weren't selling it to the consumer, so we decided about 2.5, 3 years ago to go into the direct-to-consumer beef business. My name is Brad Gabriel, and this is Gabriel Ranch Premium Beef. We've been a Go Texan member for 2 years. We kind of evolved from farmers markets and online and local restaurants to a full brick and mortar in January of this year. We've had such great response from the local customers. My son says all the time, we're doing a good thing. People appreciate us being here, appreciate a good farm-raised product, something they can trust, and we've just continued to grow and expand. We've had great response from the local people. The best part is actual interaction with customers and people that repeat customers that come in, and we know them and they trust us. It's just the relationships that are built. You know, I was aware, knew what Go Texan was kind of as a cursory thing, but I knew it was something I trusted. When it said Go Texan, I was getting a local Texas product. So began to investigate what that actually meant now that we had a product we could sell to consumers, and did some investigation and registered about 2 years ago. As we've been involved longer, we see there's other opportunities. You know, connections, we've made lots of connections with other partners. The pavilion and the advertising at the stock shows is something we're interested in. And we actually, Go Texan actually sent a family from Argentina who was visiting recently and had an interest in cattle ranching and so forth to us to do a ranch tour. So I think there's just more to investigate. There's more opportunities to help us as a business. So to grow and expand, we needed to offer our customers additional things. So we've added other proteins, local honey, vegetables, milk, any other thing that we can, and we try and start right here and expand out as local as possible. And then when we don't see somebody or can't find somebody, we go to the Go Texan and start looking further out from where we are. So we have quite a few Go Texan members products that we sell in our store today. We're looking probably in the next several months to add another store in probably Lindale, Texas, and then beyond that, we don't know. We'll see. I'm Brad Gabriel, and this is Gabriel Ranch Premium Beef, and we are Go Texan proud.
Go Texan every day.
Well, neighbors, thank you for joining us for another episode of Texas Agriculture Matters. Hey, hope you enjoyed learning more about water conservation. Now, Texans have grit, knowledge, and the technology to secure our water future, but we need to stop waiting and start doing. That means taking ownership of our water supply, using available resources, and of course, upgrading infrastructure. Now, we don't rely on anyone else to take care of us because Texans, we take care of Texas. As always, I'd like to close by saying thanks to every Texas farmer and rancher who works from sunrise to sunset to help keep our rural heritage alive. Finally, here's today's cowboy logic. Now, the quickest way to double your money is to fold it over and put it back in your pocket. Thank you. God bless. And remember, friends, Texas agriculture matters.
Salty Gulf Coast to the rolling high plains, to the piney woods in the east. All across our dear Texas, folks need good food to eat. Our farmers and ranchers are heroes. They've always made Texas great. Texas agriculture matters. It's the heart of the Lone Star State.